Hi, my name is Umar Khan, and I'm part of the sales team at Code Ninja. Now, Jensen Huang said something that I think about a lot. The world has a near infinite amount of context. And if that is true, which I believe it is, then the job of every knowledge worker, every engineer, every sales professional is fundamentally the same. Manage that context, not just store it or report on it, but understand it, act on it, and use it to generate new ideas. For decades, we've been building systems of record, CRMs, ERPs, dashboards, all designed to store information in predefined schemas. And they did that job, but the world has changed. The challenge is no longer storing data. The challenge is understanding context. And if we truly want to make AI work, we have to move from these active systems of record to systems of context. A system of record tells you what happened. A system of context tells you what it means, what has changed since you last looked, and what you should do next. And nowhere is this more obvious than in sales. Sales has been a job of grit for as long as anyone can remember. The philosophy is always persistence wins, right? The deal closes on the 6th or the 7th follow-up, the 12th in some cases. And this philosophy didn't even originate in technology. It came from the insurance industry, where sheer outreach volume was the only available strategy. And somehow it became the default operating model for modern enterprise sales. And so the tools that we built to support it reflect that same philosophy. Rigid, form-based, manual. So every interaction is typed in by a human. Every deal stage is updated by clicking through menus and drop-downs. And so here's what that actually costs. Skilled professionals spending their best hours on mechanical, repetitive work, filling in fields, chasing the same prospect for the 4th time this week. That drains creativity. It reduces people to task executors, and it consumes the very energy that should be going towards the only thing that humans can do well: thinking, generating new ideas for themselves and for their customers. So our goal is to move sales from a job of grit to a job of ideas. The only way to do that is to build a system that manages context on their behalf. And so the question today is, what really makes a system AI native? And there's a very simple test for that. Look at how context enters the system. If a human has to type and click to get information in, it's not AI native. In a system of context, context entry is AI first. So when someone replies to your LinkedIn message, the system knows. When a prospect responds to an email, the system captures it. And when you finish a call, you just speak and the system handles the rest. No forms, no menus, no manual logging. Let me show you what that looks like. The first pillar is Hyper. Hyper is an open architecture platform that allows engineers to build the starting piece of any enterprise applications, up to about 80% of the total system, in a fraction of the time that it would traditionally take. What you're seeing it do here is create the entire database structure, implement the security guardrails, and stitch together the core workflows using composable building blocks. Think of it as Lego blocks for enterprise software, stitched together with human-in-the-loop validation. Critically, Hyper allows this starting piece of software to natively integrate with any copilot of your choice through MCP, Model Context Protocol. In our case, we connect to Claude. Those integrations are natively available. An engineer can complete the full setup in an hour or two. Hyper also handles data migration from your existing systems. So once the starting piece is done, you lock in the business logic, keep the system open for AI-driven interaction, and that is the handoff to the intelligence layer. Once the software is built on Hyper and connected via MCP, Claude becomes the intelligence layer that sits on top. It enables 3 things that are simply not possible with traditional software. The first has to do with a concept that most people have never even questioned: the dashboard. A dashboard is a fixed view. Someone, a product designer or a software engineer, decided in advance what questions you would want to ask, and built a screen for each one. So every time you open up that dashboard, you were constrained to the questions that they thought of. Who said that an overview of my progress for the last week is the right question to ask? Maybe that's not what I need to know right now. Maybe I need to know something they never anticipated. The more fixed your UI is, the less you can compute context. So let's switch to Claude, and let's ask a question that was never possible before. I have two deals in negotiation, Databricks at 210K and Brex at 120K. Based on everything you know about both, which one is closer to closing, and what's the single most important thing I should do this week to push each one forward? This question does not exist anywhere as a dashboard. I'm asking it in plain language, and the system is computing the answer from full context. Deal stages, activity logs, contact history. So every sales rep using this system essentially gets a UI rendered based on their own context on the fly, instead of being predetermined by a product designer or a software engineer. When you consume your AI tokens, the highest value use is computing context, not rendering fixed charts. Let's move to the agentic layer, and not one agent, but a stack of agents, each one running autonomously on a schedule, handling a specific part of my sales workflow. One runs every morning before I wake up and tells me exactly what to focus on today. One logs all of my LinkedIn outreach every single evening, and one reviews my full pipeline every Monday. I've also got one that computes deal momentum and generates re-engagement ideas every Friday. And the one I want to walk you through actually adds contacts to my CRM while I'm asleep. What powers all of these agents are MCP connectors. For example, Apollo for prospecting and enrichment, Outlook for email history and tracking, LinkedIn for connection activity and outbound messaging, and Chrome for web-based research. Each connector feeds context into the unified system of context automatically. So when a prospect accepts your connection request or replies to your email or engages with your content, that context flows straight into the CRM without you touching anything. So this task runs every night at 3:50 a.m. It scans my LinkedIn messages and my Outlook inbox for the last 24 hours. It finds every person who replied to my outreach and cross-references them against the full CRM contact list using name matching, email matching, and company-aware deduplication. And then, before making a single change to the CRM, it presents all those findings to me in a table for my approval. The human always stays in the loop, but the agent does all the work. So this is what a completed run looks like. The agent scanned my contacts across LinkedIn and Outlook. It found two genuine replies. Marcus Reynolds at Notion replied to my LinkedIn outreach and wants to schedule a discovery call. Nice. Priya Anand at Stripe responded to an email, reviewed our case study, and wants to loop in their CTO. Everything else, inbound pitches, newsletters, auto replies, notifications, that was all filtered out. Both contacts were created in the CRM, their companies were made, notes were logged for each, and I didn't touch a single thing. Now there's three technologies that sit at the foundation of all of this: context capture, database, and memory. And all three are required. Context without memory is just noise. Memory without a database doesn't last long. So in this system, agents have two complementary memory layers: database-backed memory, where every action logged in the CRM activity trail is durable and searchable, and context-native memory, where the agent retains awareness of what it has already processed. No duplicates, no gaps between runs. The system is stateful. It compounds, and every day it gets more useful. And the best part is, you don't need to predefine your skills. There's no need to copy-paste somebody else's workflow. Just start using the system. As it performs tasks, observe which patterns you want to repeat and create skills from those patterns. Let autonomous skills emerge naturally. At maturity, you will have around 100 skills and 100 agents, not because you designed them in advance, but because they evolved from your actual usage. The system has to match your personality, not someone else's template. The third pillar is whisper flow, and it's a fun one. Now, the agents handle the majority of the context capture automatically, but there are still moments where I need to add something they could not have known. Let's say I just finished a call and I want to log what was discussed. For that, I just speak. Just got off a call with Derek from Databricks. He confirmed the technical review is done, the team is fully aligned on the architecture. He wants to move to contract next week. I will send over the MSA by Thursday this week. That note is now in the CRM. No forms, no menus, no latency. I just spoke. But here's the important framing. Whisper flow is not the primary way context enters this system. The agents can handle that for me. It's the exception, a voice interface for the moments that require human judgment. What happened on the call? What I sensed about the partnership or the relationship? The one insight that the agent could not have captured on its own. That's why we have human in the loop. And so here's the thing I keep coming back to. Humans are unfathomably different from each other. Our work patterns, communication styles, relationship building approaches, and creative instincts are deeply personal. Yet, for decades, we have forced everyone into identical software interfaces and sales processes and called that grinding repetition grit. Predefined systems do not allow you to bring your personality into your work. They impose someone else's workflow onto your context. And that defeats the entire purpose of what AI should be doing for us. The key insight is this. Do not try to predefine the system. Let it evolve with your workflow. Let skills emerge from real usage. Let agents form around actual patterns. Build your system of context around who you actually are, not around someone else's template. That is how you harness AI the way it should be harnessed. Code Ninja is an open source AI services company. Our work is focused on helping every workplace and every factory floor in the world build their sovereign AI stacks rather than remaining dependent on software vendors who make it prohibitively difficult to build true systems of context. We take open source AI and harden it for sovereign stacks across industries, from industrial manufacturing to cell biology and everything in between. This is what that looks like for sales, and it is running today.